and Ben.
Hmm.
And if the title wasn't enough, we're going to talk about more Zelda, except more with MOAR, capital letters.
R. R.
MOAR! So, there I have it set up is for this week we're going to talk about the first three Zelda games and see if we can keep up with this since I just finished Summit Session 2 and Ben might hopefully get a job.
Yeah. Oh wow. Way to make that public. Thanks.
I'm sorry. Oh, crap, I'm a bad person. I'm sorry. I feel bad now. I really am
No, it's
sorry.
okay. Moving on.
So you know what we do. We're just gonna talk from this here list I have in front of me. Not written on former biology notes. Um,
Of course not. That would be irresponsible.
I'm not an irresponsible student. I'm a totally responsible student. I got a B in a class. So tonight's Legend of Zelda topic, and we're going to talk about the first three games, and not to be redundant. So first game is The Legend of Zelda.
Hmm.
Um, do you want to talk about the origins about it, or did we already talk about that with the first video thing?
I don't know. What do you mean by origins?
Like,
Or like why Miyamoto created the game or?
yeah, stuff like that.
Oh yes. Well, I think it's fairly common knowledge, but for anyone else who doesn't know, uh, apparently it was based off of his childhood, where he used to take a lantern and go explore caves around where he lived growing up.
Makes me wonder what kind of caves were where he lived. Like,
Oh, there were bats in them and old men giving out swords.
it's dangerous to go alone.
Take this.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you a joke after the broadcast because family friendly. Um,
Oh, yeah. There are endless jokes to what this might be.
yes, and we'll just leave it at
Right.
that. So my other origin thing is I heard apparently that when Nintendo was creating Zelda and Super Mario, they were just like the origin has like two different piles of hey, let's put this here and let's put that there on what didn't work and which thing.
Hmm. That's an interesting thing.
Yeah. I don't have any sources, and I'm sorry, internet, but hey, it's only gonna be like two people watching this or something like that.
Eh, at least those two people will hopefully highly enjoy this.
Yes, yes. Um, Gosh, that went pretty fast. Okay, here's an actual topic. Holy shiz, the first Zelda game is hard.
Yeah. Well, really a lot of the games from that era are of a similar caliber in difficulty, if not harder.
Yeah, because to everyone that's only played the most recent couple of Zelda games, Legend of Zelda, you can't kill enemies like right off the bat like we all normally do. Like, oh, got three hearts, let's kill that guy and kill that guy and shank that guy.
Shank.
Yeah, shank. And you don't get a tutorial. And I guess everything was just in the instruction manual.
No, not really. It was just here you go, figure it out. But
And
I should say that by the time I played it, I had already had the player's guide, so it was easier for me to manage.
I had downloaded the emulator onto my 3DS legally through Nintendo's eShop. And it was just ridiculously hard. I was like, why am I sucking? And
Uh, I'm if it I want to apologize to anyone watching. It may look like I'm not actually paying attention. I'm actually browsing through Zelda images to draw, and I stumbled upon one that is rather well. A lot of them are rather humorous. I'll have to screen share this.
Now humorous is it?
It's a meme. Meme. I don't know.
You know, for a long time I thought.
Nice. There's like this castle and a magic bubble on the ocean floor, and I went there in my talking dragon mode.
Ah, that's cute. And Wind Waker is one of my favorite games.
We'll get to one of my favorites in the later on here.
Well, I'm just doing the first three, so I hope one of your
Uh-huh.
favorites is in there.
It is.
Good. So let's actually talk about the actual gameplay on how it was a different type of strategy game compared to modern Zelda.
Well, it wasn't strategy, it was go and explore with really no instruction whatsoever.
Yeah, it was.
Other than take this.
Yeah, I had to ask.
See ya.
I had to ask a friend where the first dungeon was, and he said, "Oh, just go get hearts first, and you can't exactly attack enemies. You just have to avoid them."
That's terrible advice.
Well, it kept me alive and it got me through the game. And let's see. Is it still on par with the other Zelda games in difficulty?
um, they have gotten progressively easier over the course of time.
Yeah.
It's so it. I don't actually not counting Zelda 2 because I think it actually got harder and then it got easier.
Well, Zelda, we're actually going to get to Zelda 2 in a bit, so we're going to hold off on that. But I'd say that I'm going to be honest and ashamed at the same time that I used IGN to get through The Legend of Zelda.
I'm that's nothing to be ashamed of. I would not have gotten through it without the player's guide. I don't even think I ever got all the way through it. I think I got to Ganon's kind of bowl or whatever, and I was like, yeah, I've had enough.
I got through all.
But I've seen what happens at the end of it. Like I think I watched a Let's Play or something and caught the end. So I'm like, okay, I got it now.
Let's Plays. Case, if you don't want to dish out, well, most of you probably know how to use an emulator, and please don't. Please don't.
Why not?
Oh, it's kind of stealing, isn't it?
Well, now that a lot of them are on Virtual Console, it is sort of again. But back when it wasn't, when you couldn't really pay for it again, it's like, well,
Yeah, well, I can understand it for years ago, but now it's like it's available to you for less than $5.
yeah.
I mean, unless you're some sort of hardcore cheapskate. Which is hilarious because I am.
Well, the same thing is like, sometimes you're younger and you don't have access to money.
That's true. Because we're old and we get commission. Well, I used to have a job and I get commissions these days.
Fancy.
Not really. For those of you that don't know, Ben and I are artists. I'm okay at best, and Ben is amazing.
Oh, stop it. I'm not as good as you think I am.
You're better than me. Okay, so on to The Legend of Zelda 2. I have not played it yet.
You don't have to. It is a train wreck.
Is it now?
Yeah.
That's a disappointment because I hear from a lot of people that they just don't like it.
It's not it. It felt because they basically turned it into a platformer, and it's like no, that doesn't no. But if anything, I think they were banking on the fact that Mario had become a bigger success, so they were going to like, hey, let's try and make it more like Mario, and it did not work.
Well, I have still yet to play it, but judging from everything, it reminded me more of Metroid than Mario.
Mm, maybe a little, but I don't know how it fits into that of when that came out and everything. But
Um, Metroid is slightly a smaller franchise of Nintendo's, but I like it because it has a strong, independent woman.
who kicks the crap out of everyone she comes in contact with?
Yeah, I really do wish Nintendo would do more with Metroid.
They do. It's just they know it's not their like absolute flagship franchise. So,
Mm,
but the fans that are fans of it are very much dedicated to
it doesn't
this.
have a strong enough fan base as Super Mario, Zelda, and Wii Fit. Yes, I do want a Wii Fit.
And we are going to shame you for that
No, you're not.
in the public square.
And then I'll crush you using the warrior pose like in the Wii Fit trainer trailer.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Um,
I have very very little knowledge of Wii Fit, and I am proud of it.
for now, you do. Back on topic, is Legend of Zelda 2 still playable? It can be downloaded through the eShop.
I wouldn't even pay for it. I hate to say that, but it's
I want to play it out of curiosity.
yeah. I mean, you can, but I wouldn't pay. I wouldn't spend money on it.
Oh, the
And
reason I
I feel really bad for anyone who spent money on it back in the day and was like, "What is this mess?"
well, I've had two friends that have played through it. One of them hated the stuff out of Legend of Zelda 2, and the other one apparently had to unlock some sort of thing, and she accidentally skipped one, and she went because like this was back in the 80s before they had the internet,
Internet.
when the government primarily used the internet and nobody else used it. um, she was just like she had no idea what to do, and like she was backtracking throughout her saved file. It's like, oh, she forgot to do something at the second temple, and it apparently prolonged her finishing the game for 6 months.
Hmm.
So that has got to stink. And we are done shaming Zelda 2.
Okay.
Now time for Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past.
Possibly my favorite game ever.
Hmm, I agree that it's great. I got to play it through the Nintendo Game Boy Advanced.
Fun. I
I don't
got to
know.
play it on the original Super Nintendo because it's awesome on the original system, as most games are awesome on their original system.
Yeah, that's possibly true because like when I was playing Zelda on my 3DS, I got the most crazy hand cramps. That doesn't sound right.
Well, I mean, if you're going to play anything excessive and for long periods of time, you're going to have cramps. That's not.
No, because like I'm using the D-pad and like I would cramp up after a few minutes. Like, oh gosh, please don't tell me arthritis is already kicking in at age 24.
No, you're probably just crazy.
Well, that's debatable between most people.
But yeah, it's Zelda 3.
Zelda 3: Link to the Past. It is a prequel to Zelda and Zelda 2.
I would have never. See, that's the thing with the whole story side of everything. I I never paid attention to if that was ever a thing or not. You know, I was just kind of like I was happy just playing the games. I sort of imagined it a little. I mean, a little bit how it is. Sort of like okay, these are the same people just reincarnated in different uh, eras, more or less. But Other than that, I didn't really care.
I was nearly the exact opposite. I loved the games, but I needed to make sense of what when everything happened.
But Zelda 3, to me, besides the fact that the gameplay is fantastic and it's nice and long, that's the one thing that annoys the hell out of me about a lot of modern games, is about how short they are. Um, the soundtrack is phenomenal. Specifically the end credits theme, because it's freaking amazing.
Hmm. Actually, it is pretty amazing.
Yeah, you can't argue that. It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's just it kind of set the staple for the standard Zelda game for most of them of where you start your adventure and you have to find three of something and then their actual quest begins.
Yeah, it also established a lot of the puzzles. Um, I remember when my brother and I were playing Ocarina of Time for the first time, and there was a thing where you had to drag a statue onto a button, and we couldn't figure it out. And then my brother's like, "Holy crap! It's the same as the old one."
Except in 3D.
Yeah, more or less.
And then it would actually be in 3D 15 years later.
Who would have guessed?
Not me.
Nope. I did not expect 3D stuff to make a comeback
Um, I
after it
think
pretty much bombed in the 90s.
my thing was that Nintendo put out a good concept, but they should have just stuck with improving the graphics of the Nintendo DS because it causes eye problems and stuff like that. And it's like this, it's too
Well,
much.
so did the Virtual Boy, but no
That's
one
why
wants
they
to
canceled
talk
it.
about that.
Yeah. So I liked A Link to the Past. It was a neat first 2D Zelda game.
It was, yeah, and it was still, that was the first one I ever played.
And I
That,
think
that got me hooked on the series.
was it the first one where they actually gave Link a voice?
No, it did it did in the later versions in the ports, and that's what annoyed the hell out of me because I saw someone playing a port of it on I think it was Game Boy Advance at that point, and I was like, why is he going? Yeah, he's not supposed to do that. You're just supposed to
Oh,
hear the of the sword.
I didn't know that. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Ocarina of the Time was the first voice that you ever heard out of him,
Damn.
which was that was the thing about Link to the Past is the four swords that you get, or the one you start with in the three others, they get progressively more interesting sounding. Like the first one is just sort of like a ch, ch, and then the Master Sword first level is kind of a little more like a, and then level three has a little more of a, and then the Golden Sword is just like, it's
Um,
like, so it sounds like you're clearing your throat. It's like, really crazy.
so while we're talking about the first of these Zelda games, I am unsure about this, and I'm hoping you can clarify this for me. Was A Link to the Past the first game to introduce the Master Sword, or was there?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
because some people are claiming that the Magic Sword from the first Zelda game was just a mistranslation.
Possibly, but it didn't. It didn't even look like the one. So I mean, plus there's the if you actually follow the timeline thing, the Master Sword didn't exist until there was like the White Sword and the Magic Sword like in chronologically before the Master Sword. So, which I think the Master Sword became. I don't know what it was, something, but yeah, two different things. Um,
Interesting. Well, I'll have to read that sometime this week since I'm finally going to get the Historia of Hyrule. After I finish some Demon Gate thing. It's
Uh,
actually a pretty good story.
oh well, thank you.
Crap, we went through this pretty fast. It's only been 20 minutes. Um,
Want to
but I
keep
ha
going?
Yeah, we're gonna keep going. Um, okay, I have two other topics. One I'm gonna save for later, and the other I'm gonna save for slightly more later, or slightly less later. I'm not sure yet. But I guess we're gonna talk about this current timeline we're talking about, which is the hero dies timeline.
I see now because I don't know where they. I would have to go get the book and look because I have no idea.
Oh no, I know the timeline fairly well. The A Link to the Past, Legend of Zelda, and Legend of Zelda 2 take place in the timeline where in the battle between Ganon and Link and Ocarina of Time, Link is killed and everyone goes, "Oh snap, do something!" And Ganon is sealed away, and nobody really. Well, I'd have to go get the book itself, and I don't want to bother you to go get it.
Yeah. So meh.
Yeah. Um, I just I never thought of like such a dark timeline to exist in the Zeldaverse.
I don't know. Pretty much all of Majora's Mask is extremely dark. So
It is pretty dark, and then it leads into Twilight Princess.
Majora's Mask is still just as like if you watch some of the game analysis videos um,
Yeah. No,
about Majora's Mask, it gets really really dark.
yeah, I know the theories.
More so than was just sort of on the surface.
Yeah, no, Majora's Mask scared me when I was little because my brother, he got game over and like I had to watch Clocktown get destroyed.
Over and over and over again.
No, it just happened once because he sucked at
Oh.
game. And it was my oldest brother who just could not play the game. I was like, he took it really hard when he told me, "You suck!"
Uh,
And then like there's a Happy Mask salesman who scared the crud out of me.
I don't know if you ever noticed this, but there is a Mario mask among his collection.
Yes. No, but like I would I would turn my
Yeah.
face away like when he got scary mad at the start of the game. Like I can't because he scared me that much.
Yeah, but you probably played it when you were younger than I was.
Significantly
I
younger.
was, yeah, I was, God, I must have been about 14 or 15 by the time I played Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. So,
Yeah, I was 9 when I played. I think I was 9 when I played Majora's Mask, and it just
ooh,
scared me.
that's a little, yeah.
It was my first official Zelda game though, so
Oh wow, I am so sorry. How did you even stick with the series?
um, a lot of lawn mowing.
Uh,
But it was also around the time that I started getting to anime, and like I started noticing repeating plots and understanding a story better, especially with the Keifi and Anju storyline.
yeah, I hated that one.
I liked that.
It's the worst side quest in the history of all side quests in all games.
I don't know. I had to get a
It
giant
is a
knife.
nightmare.
I had to get a giant knife. I don't know about you, but that shit was annoying.
Giant's knife?
Yeah, an
What?
Ocarina of Time. Like it was the most
Oh,
pointless.
that. No, that's way easier. Once you've done it once, it's so much easier.
I just felt it was the most pointless quest in the game.
Well, once when you're fighting Ganon at the end and your Master Sword gets flung away, you're like, hey, I got another one I can pull out.
Mm, I was a purist and I used the hook shot to attack him. I do know some people use the giant knife to attack dark
Not
thing.
the not the giant knife. It was the big Oron sword. Because the giant knife is the thing that broke every
Oh,
time you
okay.
bought one.
Um, well, some people use that. I use the Megaton hammer. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, it's a nice, powerful thing. It's slow though, unless you can
Well,
swing it.
well, the thing is, a lot of people just use the Master Sword, and we're already off topic, like Extreme. This is supposed to be like some other week, but I have a load of stuff on Ocarina of Time, so it's okay. Um, yeah, my strategy was just to use the hammer because, like, if you use the Master Sword, it did everything that you did. So I was like, okay, well, if he's using the Master Sword, he doesn't have this here hammer. I'm gonna knock the spit out of him with it.
It's the Legend of Link's Endless Pockets.
I thought he stored it on his hat.
I'm just gonna do this.
Yeah.
It's a magic lamp.
At least Skyward Sword kind of put some sense into that. Oh, magic lamp. Oh, topic for
Oh,
later this week. Later tonight, actually.
oh no, I don't want to go there.
Okay, we're not gonna go there. We're gonna scratch out that topic then.
You were actually going there.
We are.
No, I was asking. You actually had to scratch that off.
Um, no, I didn't.
Okay, good.
Um,
So, what else is on that fancy list of yours?
not that thing that you just said. Nope, nope, never existed.
I had enough being upset over that.
Yeah, we're not touching that because we are not professionals at all. But actually, there was one thing I was wondering about, and a lot of people have analyzed this for me. So if you really want to care about this, just look on the internet yourself. What is up with Zora's in A Link to the Past?
I don't know. That was the first time they showed up,
Yeah,
so they could have been anything.
yeah, but they were like friendly people in all the other games, and like, well, I don't know about Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, but in
I haven't actually played those, so I don't know.
I didn't mow enough lawns to buy them. But apparently Zoras became jerks at some point.
Or you're just reading too far into it, like the fact that they came out like that, like you know, because that game came out first, they weren't thinking about the story. They were, you know, it's not like, oh, we can plan this out and we can release all these games in not in order in terms of timeline. No.
Um, that, yeah, I am. Me and a lot of fans are probably looking too deep into it, and I think that just it just made me more interested in like the franchise because like, why is this here? Why is that like that? Why is this like that?
It's not always a reason.
Well, I do like that they gave a reason on why all the princesses are named Zelda. And in Adventure of Link too, so
Yeah.
is that a chicken clucking?
Oh no, it's my fan. Chickens are over the hills further in
I
my
was like,
neighbor's yard.
that sounds like a cuckoo.
It's a little tick 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 tick.
Wait, seriously, your neighbors have chickens?
Yeah.
That is so cute.
Well, they haven't been laying eggs, so they might be roast chickens pretty soon.
Oh, that's a little sad.
No, it's not.
But I love all animals except
Huh.
roaches, mosquitoes.
I like animals too. I just prefer to eat them.
And it is, we have about 15 minutes left, so One of the other topics was why have we been gone for 3 weeks?
I've been here. What are you talking about?
Well, I got sucked in some sort of portal by the Necronomicon, and I ran into something called an Elder one, or was it an old one? And I met this guy named Cthulhu, and it was just not a fun time. Oh, and I got a B in a pre-cal class, so all that happened, and
Oh, you meant the quest,
yeah,
right? I was off adventuring with Arthur's Knights and Merlin,
that's not
discovering the Holy Grail. You know,
that's not fair. You get to have fun with knights. I get sucked into the Lovecraftian universe, which is not a fun place at all.
I believe you.
I mean, it's not fun.
Okay.
Yeah, so the real reason why I haven't been keeping up with these things is that I am a student and the school comes first, and by the end of the day, I am exhausted to do this stuff.
That's understandable. I mean, it is important to put school first, which is something I never did.
And stay in school, kids, no matter how much you hate it, because you need that degree more than you think.
It's true.
And any other final thoughts?
If anyone's watching that maybe isn't as much of a fan of the series as we are, give it a chance. I mean, really, I mean, it may not be a shooter. Definitely not. You
And
know, it's not as it's not tailored to sort of the generic game genres that are out a lot of today's, but because it is so original, I mean that you have a cast of memorable characters. You have usually, not even not even usually, almost all the time you're getting a really great soundtrack. Um, it is an experience and a journey and an adventure because it's an adventure game and
and
worth
it
playing at the very least. Just give it a shot, play through one of them, and if you don't love it, fine. But don't be hating on something that you don't really know anything about.
and before adding on to that, it is not Prince of Persia or Assassin's Creed, but in reality, they copied Zelda. So you gotta own up to the original. And
I'm not gonna touch that because I don't know. I can't say what they're if they're copying anything or whatever. But
well, after fall semester, I'm gonna give Assassin's Creed a shot. So there will not be a let's play because I don't know how to work that technology. Um, oh, and Hyrule Warriors is now out in Japan. I've seen a few let's plays, and for a little bit I was kind of excited about it, but now I've been turned off about it now that I realize that it's repetitive.
woohoo! I win.
Yeah, you win. Unless you give a scarf an American release, and I'm totally gonna reserve one, because scarves are cool. And one of the neat things, and this is a small spoiler, you can use the cuckoos as a weapon now.
That's not a spoiler. It's been on IGN for like I don't know, like a couple of weeks.
Oh, okay. Well, I just like that they're weaponized now. Like it's funny because like there's this little meme of like a little comic of like Link. He touches a cuckoo with the tip of his knife, and like he runs into his house screaming for his life. And like a little thought idea pops up, and like he tapes what cuckoo to his shield, and an enemy is just like backing away.
Uh, Silly.
Yeah, gotta love the internet. All right, well, I think that's it for us. Maybe next time we'll just go for 30 minutes.
Oh, whatever.
Good night, internet, even though it's only like 8:08.
Well, for
Maybe.
you,
Oh,
9:05 for me.
oh, that's right. Well, we gotta end this already because everyone under 18 has school tomorrow.
No, they
We,
don't.
they do in some parts of Texas.
They're starting already?
Yeah,
Holy heck.
yeah, exactly.
Jeez. It's nuts.
And boats. You
And
didn't get that. Oh,
and
it's a Banjo-Kazooie thing.
oh, okay.
Good night, Internet.